Good morning. Today is Thursday, March 26th. This is our sociology lecture for the day. Want to start off with our question of the day. It is, what is status inconsistency? I talked about that yesterday a little bit during the lecture. It's already been posted on the Teams app. I need to remind you that when you go on the Teams app and you answer a question, you open it, you type in your answer, and then somewhere on there, I can't see what yours actually is, but it probably says return or turn in or something like that. You do that, and that way it comes through the Teams app. You don't have to print it. You don't have to write it on another piece of paper and take a picture of it and email it to me. Just do everything on the Teams app. What I've done is I went through and everything that required a grade that we've done so far, I've given everybody the grade. This week is kind of a learning experience for all of us. Trying this new learning from home, and I got a feeling that we'll be doing the same thing next week. Things are probably going to change since the governor did the stay-at-home order that goes into April. So I don't anticipate us going back to school next week. Now, if I'm wrong, that's great. I will be more than happy and ready to go next week. But I think we ought to prepare ourselves that we're probably going to be doing this at least one more week. In saying that, I need you to spread the word to your classmates. There's been some that I have not heard from, some that have not watched the videos, don't even know what's going on. And I've contacted everybody and told them what I was trying to do. So we just need to contact them and remind them that what's going on. I'll try to send emails out, but if they're not checking their school email, it doesn't really help. But if you know the ones in our class and you can get a hold of them and say, we're having class online, the YouTube videos and stuff through the Teams app, check your school email, things like that, you might be able to help me out, okay? Yesterday, I stopped with status inconsistency, and I asked you to read the Down to Earth on page 269. But I thought this morning I might go ahead and just read it. It is kind of interesting. I think it's something that we've all probably thought of one time or another. And it kind of talks about what happens. It's the big win, life after the lottery. If I just won the lottery, life would be good. These problems I've got, they'll be gone. I can just see myself now. So goes the dream. And many Americans shell out megabucks every week with the gleaming hope that maybe this week I'll hit it big. Most are lucky to get $20 or maybe just win another scratch-off ticket. That's kind of the way it happens. I played the lottery a few times, and if I won $2, I thought that was pretty good. I got my money back. If I won 5 or 10, hey, that was even better. I might buy another ticket and then have a couple dollars left over. And I think all of us have kind of been there. Maybe not you guys, because technically you're not supposed to buy those lottery tickets until you're after 18. But maybe your parents play. But there are big hits. What happens to winners? Are their lives all wine, roses, and chocolate afterward? We don't have any systematic studies of big winners, so I can't tell you what life is like for the average winner. But several themes are apparent from reporters' interviews. The most common consequence of hitting it big is that your life becomes topsy-turvy. All of us are rooted somewhere. We have connections with others that prove for the basis of our orientations to life and how we feel about the world. Sudden wealth can rip these moorings apart, and the resulting status inconsistency can lead to a condition sociologists call anomie. First comes shock. As Mary Sanderson, a telephone operator in Dover, New Hampshire, who won $66 million, said, "I was afraid to believe it was real, and afraid to believe it wasn't. Mary says she never slept worse than her first night as a multimillionaire. I spent the whole time crying and throwing up." Reporters and TV cameras appear on your doorstep. What are you going to do with all that money? They demand. You haven't the slightest idea, but in a daze you mumble something. Then come the calls. Some are welcome. Your mom and dad calling to congratulate you. But long forgotten friends and distant relatives suddenly remember how close they really are to you. And strangely enough, they all have emergencies that your money can solve. You even get calls from strangers who have ailing mothers, terminally ill kids, or sick dogs. You have to unplug your phone and get an unlisted number. You might be flooded with marriage proposals. You certainly didn't become more attractive or sexy overnight, or did you? Maybe money makes people sexy. You no longer trust people. You don't know what their real motives are. Before, no one could be after your money because you didn't have any. You may even fear kidnappers. Before, that wasn't a problem, unless your kidnapper wanted a ransom of a 7-year-old car. The normal becomes abnormal. Even picking out a wedding gift is a problem. If you give the usual toaster, everyone will think that you're stingy. But if you write a check for $25,000, if you do, you're invited to every wedding in town, and everyone will expect the same. Here's what happened to some lottery winners. When Alex Silnes of Chicago won $67 million, he lost his friends. For some reason, they thought he should give them a large annual gift. As Alex's daughter says about Alex, former best friend, he was like, put me on your payroll. As a tip, a customer gave away a ticket to Tanya Dickerson and the waitress in the Waffle House in Green Bay, Alabama. She won $10 million. Yes, just like the Nicolas Cage movie, it could happen to you. Her co-worker sued her, saying that they always had agreed to split such winnings. Then there was Michael Knable of Runaway, New Jersey. He won $2 million. His mother, Phyllis, said that half of it was hers, that she and her son had pooled $20 a month for years to play the lottery. He said they had done this, but he had bought the winning ticket on his own. Phyllis sued her son. Imagine, mom suing your own kids, or kids suing your own parents. It does happen. When Mac Metcalf, a forklift operator in Corbin, Kentucky, hit the jackpot for $34 million, he fulfilled a dream. He built and moved into the replica of George Washington's Mount Vernon home. Then his life fell apart. His former wife sued him. His current wife divorced him, and his new girlfriend got $500,000 while she was drunk. Within 3 years, his good fortune, Metcalf had drunk himself to death. Winners who avoid ennui seem to be the people who don't make sudden changes in their lifestyle or behavior. They hold on to their old friends and routines, the anchors in their life that give them identity and sense of belong. Some even keep their old jobs, not for the money, of course, but because job anchors them to identity with which they are familiar with and comfortable. Sudden wealth, in other words, can pose a threat to be guarded against. And I can just hear you say, I'll take the risk. Now think about this. How do you think your life would change if you won the lottery jackpot of $10 million? Now that would be interesting. What would you do? Okay. It definitely would change your status for sure. Now, Marx argued that there are just two classes, the capitalists and the workers. Membership based solely on the person's relationship to the means of production. And we've kind of mentioned this before. Sociologists have criticized this view. These categories are too broad. For example, since executives, managers, and supervisors don't own means of production, they would be classified as workers. What do these people have in common with the assembly line workers? The category of capitalists is also too broad. Some people enjoy 1,000 workers and their decisions affect 1,000 families. To resolve this problem, Eric Wright suggests that some people are members of more than one class at the same time. They occupy what he calls contradictory class locations. Wright means that a person's position to the class structure can generate contradictory interest. Now we're going to update Weber a little bit. Sociologists Joseph Kell and Dennis Gilbert developed a 6-tier model to portraying the class structure of the United States and other capitalist. Okay, let's go back. I skipped a page. The automobile mechanic turned business owner may want his mechanics to have higher wages because he too experienced their working conditions. At the same time, his current interests of making profits and remaining competitive with other repair shops lead him to resist pressures to raise their wages. Because such contradictory class locations, Wright modified Marx's model as a summary 10.3 on page 270. If you take a look at that, you can see Wright's modifications. Now, he identifies 4 classes. The first class, the capitalist class, business owners who employ many workers. 2, the petty bourgeoisie, which are small business owners. 3, managers who sell their labor but also exercise authority over employed. And then 4, the workers who simply sell their labor to others. This model allows further divisions than the one Marx proposed, yet maintains the primary direction, but the distinction between employer and employee. There are problems, for example, in which category would we place college professors? Okay, that would be tough. They're not really managers, but they do have more prestige than a lot of people in the country. So that would be interesting. The capitalist class, at the top of the rung is the class ladder is a powerful elite that consistently just 1% of the U.S. population. This class is also wealthy, so wealthy that it owns 1/3 of all the nation's assets. 1% is worth more than the entire bottom 90% of the country. Now think about that. And we've heard this before. The top 1% has 90% of the income or the wealth, okay? The power and influence cling to this small elite. They have direct access to politicians and their decisions, open or closing job opportunities for millions of people. They even help to shape the consciousness of the nation. They own our major medic and entertainment outlets, newspapers, magazines, radio and television stations, and sports franchises. They also control the boards of directors of most are influential colleges and universities. The capitalist class can be divided into old and new money. The longer wealth has been in the family, the more of it adds to the family's prestige. The children of old money seldom mingle with the common fold. Instead, they attend private schools where they learn the views of life that support their privileged position. They don't work for wages. They may study business or become lawyers so they can manage the family fortunes. These old money capitalists are also called blue bloods. They have vast power and they use their extensive political connectedness to protect their economic empires. They've had money. They're probably always going to have money. They have smart investments. They make decisions based on current events. People who are blue buds, probably when things started to go in 2008 like they went, they probably sold off a lot of their stock and put their monies in more secure areas until things started to rebound. Then they went back and bought more while they were low. Today, we hear of some people who started selling their stocks prior to government restrictions because of COVID-19. Those are blue bud people. They've had the money. They look into advanced opportunities. When they think the market's going to start going down, they sell all their stocks, stick it in someplace else more secure. And then when it bottoms out and starts to climb, they buy back. They sell high and they buy cheap. And it helps keep that money going, okay? The lower end of the capitalist class are those who have new money. Although they have made fortunes in business, stock markets, inventions, entertainment, or sports, they are considered outsiders to the upper class. For the most part, they have not attended the right schools. They did not share the social networks that come along with old money. Not being blue bloods, they are not trusted to have the right orientations to life. Either their taste in clothing and status symbols is suspect. Donald Trump, whose money is new, is not listed in the social registry, which is the white pages for the blue bloods, which lists the most prestigious and wealthy 0.1% of the population. Trump says he doesn't care about that, but he reveals his true feelings by adding that his heirs will be in it. Okay? He is probably right. The children of the new money can ascend into the top part of the capitalist class if they do so, if they go to the right schools and marry the right people. And so they turn around and change their lifestyles, okay? I'm just going to go ahead and stop here today. I know this is kind of new and everybody's trying to learn. Get word out to your classmates. Monday's video might have some new information. I know we're kind of waiting on the State Board of Education to give some guidelines to all the schools right now. So you might want to hang tight and be prepared to watch on Monday and see how things change. I really strongly encourage you to do the questions of the day. This may be the status quo for a while. We just don't know. If this does happen and we have to start doing things this way, you need to get yourself in a routine. Starting next week, I will probably try to post this class and start this close to our normal time, because I know if you're going to have other classes you have to attend to, I know this option gives you the opportunity to go back later, but I'll start sending this out about the time that we would normally have class, which right now I'm finishing about the time we would be starting. And I'll try to do that for all my classes. Ideally, since I have sociology, psychology, and American history, I'm only going to do one video for each one. So I would do sociology, and then during the next class period, do psychology, and then give a little bit of time and come back and do the American history one. But that's kind of how I'm going to try to run things. I'll try to keep it as close to our schedule as can starting next week, and keep us right where we need to be. If you have any questions, please email me through the school email, or you can call my number at the school, which is 217-639-5099, and leave a voicemail. And I check that voicemail a couple times a day to see if there's any messages there I need to respond to. Well, this will conclude today's lecture. I hope you have a great day. I hope you practice social distancing. I hope you stay safe. I really hope that before too long we can meet back together in class again and kind of get back to a normal routine. Have a great day.